we're here with my mom again, and just looking at an azalea. We're going to take off the old blooms, deadhead it, and just talk about some possibilities. I'm not an azalea expert, so I don't really know exactly where to start with it, but we'll start with taking off the blooms.
Yep, and at this point, I think I'm just learning how to keep an azalea alive in a pot. So that'll be a win right there.
Okay, so all we're doing is we're looking for where the flower was. There's a little tongue that sticks out, and then you want to grab right behind it on the.
Oh, okay.
On the, I don't know the proper names for the flower parts, but
I should know this from my biology, but I forget.
I don't know if it makes an enthralling video sit here and cut all the little flowers off.
But you can speed through it, or you can cut to the when we've got it done. And then we can show the end result.
No, they have to watch the whole thing.
Your channel, up to you.
So I've been told that if you remove the flowers before they start trying to create seed pods, that it can save a lot of energy, so the plant can use that energy on growing new leaves. And
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
I've even seen one guy who was taking all the flowers off like while they were flowering still.
Yeah, I would find that hard to do.
Yeah, because you kind of want to enjoy it.
Yeah. But I could see maybe you sacrifice that in the first
well, especially if
year
you're
or so.
Trying to like work to a deadline of some sort. If you're, you want to be at the azalea show next year or something, and you really need that. Prioritize the growth for next year.
Wait.
I guess we could do a second pass later. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's some similar rules where you don't, like with the maples, you don't want to have a ton of different branches coming off from the same point.
Yeah.
And these seem a lot harder to bend. I wouldn't be surprised if this snapped if you tried to bend it too far out.
But I feel like there's too much going on right in the center here.
Yeah.
I feel like for instance, I think I could take that right there, right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean anything that's crossing, of course. But do you have an idea of what you want this, like how big you want this to be one day, or?
Not overly big, but I thought, like, it seems to have these straight branches, and then it can get a cluster. I thought it might look kind of cool if there was multiple levels to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and certainly you would have the flexibility to bring this out in different areas if you wanted to. I feel like at least something has to go in the middle, but
oh, for sure.
But I'm not sure what exactly. But again, anywhere where there's branches that are crossing.
There's things touching each other.
But, do you want it to be more, having more horizontal growth, or do you want it to come up quite straight and then have branches coming off? I
think I'd like it to have some branches going out a little bit, and then these clusters of flowers.
Okay, because we could just remove everything from the middle, or anything growing towards the middle. We probably should do that anyway. Like anywhere where there's a fork and one goes in towards the middle, we could take out that middle one.
This one here, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that for sure.
And what about a front? Do you?
No, I haven't thought about that
front?
yet. Maybe you can see what you think here.
Well, I'm not really sure. But yeah, so the only thing I was thinking about in terms of like you want to cut something off that's coming towards the middle, but unless you want that to be the new leader. And if you wanted it to be a very straight trunk, then you would always select the most center branches to keep. But if you want it to be you know, moving back and forth, then you would want to, you know, intentionally take the straight ones away, and then you could have this sort of movement back and forth as it grows up higher. The other thing to think about is the angle. Like you could potentially pot it at an angle where this becomes the leader, and all of this
is where I start to go, oh no, there's too many
options.
Too many moving parts and options here.
So you would like to have this up here with a cluster of flowers up there.
And then maybe another 2 or 3 of them like that.
So what if we then take out the ones that are competing with that?
Yes.
For starters. So you take that, and I guess would we maybe get rid of the other ones on that same branch?
Yes.
Perhaps?
I think so. What is this? Are you holding this one to keep out of the way, or for me to cut?
Well, mostly to keep out of the way. I was thinking cut these ones. You could use regular scissors if you like. They're probably strong enough.
Oops. Okay. I'm finding I don't quite know how to hold that thing. So all of these?
Sure. And then I think that as well, but I wasn't including it. Oh yeah, so there's 2 that come out of there. So like maybe this whole branch needs to come off.
This whole branch? And how close do I?
Yeah, right there. And the reason I was thinking that is because they both come off the trunk at the same spot. Yeah. So we want this to be its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
this is exactly kind of what I was thinking, is some long pieces that are going to have a flower cluster at the end.
So then do you want this to be another one coming up this way? So why don't we take everything off that's not this?
We have to cut that one a bit closer.
And so then that is another branch that we've got. So we've got this branch, we've got this branch. Do you want anything coming up the center?
I don't see one. Would this be the center one? Or?
It kind of is, and I guess like we could even try wiring some stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I just broke that one.
Oh, maybe we should just get rid of it.
Okay. So like we could try wiring out a little branch here of some sort.
I feel like this one might be
weak.
There's something about it, maybe.
I'm thinking it's from bending it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think it's salvageable, but we could also just cut it out as well. And I guess keep a note of how much you can bend it before it starts to really suffer, I guess. Okay, so we've got this branch, we've got this branch. I feel like this is interfering with this one to some degree. It's funny though, there's nothing kind of coming forward.
Maybe these 2 would be the forward.
Yeah. Let's give it a spin here. So we could also look at it from a different angle. This is actually interesting how it comes off this way.
Actually, I kind of like that.
And so then in that case, this could maybe go off that way. So maybe we keep this branch and then cut this and this. Actually, or should we go with that one? Kind of coming up this way eventually.
Okay, and cut these?
Yeah, cut those 2 off. And then maybe this higher one should go, so that we have this lower one. So,
sorry, which higher?
So cut that off there, and the stub.
Oh, hey, trust me, these scissors so close.
Nope.
Oops.
That's okay. So I don't know what.
All
that
right.
will
Well,
do.
we'll see what happens there, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So let's clean up just these little guys here. And I don't know if they backbud, but maybe that should just go then. It was a sign.
It was a sign. It made the decision for us. As my sister would say, the tree told us what to do.
Okay, so this is kind of,
I like this.
yeah.
I like, you know, the bend in it, potentially.
Well, and yeah, so we could wire it further out. I'm worried about bending these too much now.
Yeah, they seem a little brittle, so we have to be careful.
But I feel like this is interfering with this to some degree.
Okay.
But we could, I don't know, because that's going to be a prominent feature going that way, so I almost feel like all of that should go. Is that too much?
No. So right here?
Sure. Okay.
All right. There, do we need to do anything in here at this point?
Well, you don't necessarily have to. The other thing I was thinking is, should we try and do some wiring to, and some of this is even quite flexible if you wanted to do something more like this or something, if you wanted to try it.
Okay.
So yeah, let me take some of the smallest wire you have. It's 1 mil. So take a little piece of thin wire, and maybe we'll try anchoring it here. And then we'll go around this way.
So you're just wrapping it, and then you'll
Wrap it first.
then you'll bend.
And it's like totally not enough.
Oh, okay. So it's not. It needs a thicker wire.
Yeah, totally. Good thing I got that on camera.
Well, you know, but these are learning things for people, right?
I got a lot of learning to do.
A lot of learning.
Okay. So save that for later somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was 1.5. 1.5's got to be
Seems
enough.
to be the next size up.
It's got to be enough. And I feel like I had done too long there. So how long did I do? That was too long. So yeah, maybe like there. Yeah, these cutters like cut through the wire really easily.
Yeah, they seem to.
So again, I'll just do something to hold this in place. I don't want to go that way. Just to anchor it. And come back. Actually, that's not quite enough, I guess. And again, watch for any of this to bite in.
Yeah.
And I want it to scar this. So then, if you want to, you can come out further. You can give it a little bit of a spiral if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Maybe something to complement this side, where it's maybe more like that. You can also have it waving back and forth this way if you wanted to. Create some more interest that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm liking the way this is looking.
And then maybe that would lend to this being a tier here, and then later this will be a tier there.
Yep.
I'm not sure about the middle. Maybe the middle would eventually come out completely. Maybe eventually.
Okay.
Decide on that later.
Yep.
But and then you can kind of have like a two separate things there.
All right.
I
think it's a good start.
This kind of has some, there's a lot of different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all coming off one spot. I don't know if you want to take that down to 2.
Probably do that.
And you want it to be a little taller, so maybe we'll keep the tallest one at least.
Yeah. So I should take off these little tiny sides, right?
Sure. You got 2 there, and then later you might, make that into another little section here. Who knows?
What about these little guys?
Maybe leave the forward one, and then take out the other small ones.
Okay.
And
Yep.
maybe this one too.
Take it out?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yep.
And then that could be some, because you do want to keep the trunk open as well, but you might end up wanting to have something here to
Sure, yeah.
create some interest forward.
Okay.
Okay.
And maybe leave it in this. This is the nursery pot that it came in. Just leave it.
I suppose for now. I'm not sure the right time for repotting azaleas.
Probably the spring as well.
Probably, and they like more acidic soil, so like for bonsai they would use that Canoma, but I don't believe you have to. I think you just need something that can provide some air to the roots. These have lots of clusters all in one spot, but I think maybe you want to leave that for now until you can decide which way you want to go later.
Okay.
I should have paid more attention when they were wiring up an azalea the other day. I don't know if they sort of spread these out in different directions or if they just keep them as little clusters. But I think they're at some point either in the spring or maybe throughout the summer they'll be developing their flower buds for next year.
Okay.
But that's probably still to come.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. This has been informative.
All right. Well, and again, I'm not an
I
azalea
know,
expert,
but I like the way it looks now. Before it just looked like a jumble of mess here, and now it looks like it's going to be something. And it's a good, I mean, a cheap, garden azalea. I think it was $9.99.
$9, yeah.
Yep, it's a good little way to learn how to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not spending a fortune on something and then it dies.
Yeah, exactly. I've certainly killed a few azaleas already.
Yeah, but yeah, good. Well, thank you so much.